Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Amanda for those of you who are new to the channel, and for those of you who've been here before, welcome again, and for family, hello. We have got some hot chocolate cappuccino and mochaccino mixes to mix up today and add to the pantry shelves because I've got no sachets left and I don't want to go out and purchase any of those items when we can make it ourselves for a lot less money, plus the items that I need to make them are already in the pantry, so it's a no-brainer as far as making up some instant hot beverage mixes, which can also be used for milkshakes and thick shakes and lattes as well, and iced coffees throughout the year as it warms up as well. So I'm going to share my recipe. It's easy, simple, a few ingredients, and you can of course modify it to your specific tastes. This works for us, but you can obviously add extra coffee or change the sugar out to a non-sugar variety, or you can also change out the milk powder to a coconut milk and make yourself a dairy-free version. So let's go. Okay guys, first thing in the morning, most of us have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. I personally would prefer a cup of coffee, and I tend to reach for the sachet flavoured coffees if I'm going to have a coffee. I'm going to make them today instead because coffee sachets are quite expensive. We're running out and we're on a pantry challenge, so I'd like to reduce the amount of costs with our groceries, and they're quite expensive. I think they're around the $7 for 10 sachets. We can do it a lot cheaper. So instant milk powder, that's full cream milk powder that I'm going to be using, but you can use reduced fat milk powder if you want. I'm going to be using caster sugar, which I'm going to turn into powdered sugar, and I'm going to be using just a Moccona number 5 classic coffee, but you can use any strength coffee that you like. I'm also then going to do some variations of this mix as well. I'm going to do a mocha version as well, and I'm also going to do just a standard hot chocolate mix. So let's get started. So this literally takes a couple of seconds to prepare, and then you've got enough serves for at least the week, and it will cost you next to nothing. Alright, milk powder, 1 cup going into a quart jar. You can use any container, airtight container you want to store it in. Okay, I'm just going to do a small batch in this jar because I've got another jar already filled. So we're just going to do a small batch. So this is the standard recipe. From this we can add whatever we like. So 1 cup of milk powder, in my case full cream milk. Now I'm going to use my spice grinder and I'm going to grind up my caster sugar so it's fine as well to a powder consistency. So 1/2 cup of caster sugar, or as I've done it, I've turned it into powder by powdering it. You don't have to make it into powder if you've just got caster sugar. It's just my preference. It makes all of the ingredients melt in the boiling water or dissolve in the boiling water at the same rate. Onto the coffee, same thing. I'm going to take my coffee, which in this case is 1/4 cup, and I'm going to also put it in the spice grinder and grind it to a powder as well. Now, if you want a stronger coffee flavour, obviously you can add more coffee to your mix, or if you want a darker roast, you can have a darker roast, that's fine. It's able to be adjusted. I've adjusted this. This suits the people that drink the coffee in the house, the plain coffee, so it works for us. Those ingredients just need to have the lid put on and shaken up or stirred up together well in a bowl if you're using a bowl. Okay, well stirred together. So to make this up into a cup of coffee or a mug of coffee, so if it's just a standard coffee cup, then that would be 1 tablespoon. If it's, or a heaped spoon, 2 spoons for a mug, 3 spoons for a really large mug. I've got a really large mug, so I'm going to go with 3 spoons into my little mug today. Or not little, it's large. This holds about 700 mils of water. So simple, 3 spoons at the bottom of the cup, and then we're just going to add some boiling water to this. Definitely able to adjust your sugar level or alternate your milk. For non-dairy creamer, you could use coconut milk instead of using the full cream instant milk. I've used Aussie Choice brand, and that's the one that I have found for the last couple of times that I've made the instant coffee mixes up, that it does froth up and it's quite nice and creamy versus some of the other brands of milk powder. It's not expensive either. It's one of the least expensive ones. I think that was about $9 maybe, and it makes up to 7 litres of milk. As far as the powders go, it makes a lot of powder. Alright, so using the same milk powder, I'm going to now do the mocha version instead. because who doesn't love a mocha coffee in the morning as well? So if I'm not having a caramel coffee or a caramel latte, then I'm probably going to be having a mocha. This is what I usually would take with me down to the paddocks in the morning. This is breakfast for me. So yes, it does have a bit of sugar in it. However, I do obviously do a fair bit of work around the property in the morning. So a little bit of sugar isn't an issue for me. And let's move on now and let's make a mocha instead. Okay, mocha chocolate or mocha coffee, I should say. Pretty simple to put it together. We're going to use the base recipe, but it's been changed slightly because the coffee that I'm using is the Starbucks signature coffee, so it's already got some sugar in it as well, so I want to reduce the sugar to the recipe. You can use instant cocoa if you'd prefer, or drinking chocolate. Either way, it doesn't matter. If you're using drinking chocolate, same thing, reducing the sugar content. So I've got 1 cup of my instant milk powder, so this is a full cream milk powder. I've got 1/3 a cup of sugar this time, and it's been again put through the blender, so it's 1/3 of a cup, not 1/2 a cup, and I've turned that into a powder. The chocolate that I'm using 1/2 a cup of it, however. And then we just use our standard amount of coffee, again, another 1/3 put through the machine. And ground down to a fine powder once again. So they're all powders, so that way they will all dissolve in water at the same rate. So just into the jar once again, just for mixing purposes. So I've put the milk, I've put the chocolate, I'm just going to put the sugar, and then I just need to add my coffee. Giving that a good shake, mixing it together, and it's ready to now be made into a mocha coffee. So 2 to 3 tablespoons again in a mug, and you've got yourself an instant mocha coffee. If you want to turn that into an instant mocha cappuccino, however, I'm just going to put it into my milk frother, and I'm just going to froth it up in the jug. So I have 500 mils of water or 2 cups, and I've got 3 heaped spoons of the instant mix, and let's froth that up. Okay, just a few seconds of heating that up in the milk frother, and I've got myself my latte, which is my mocha latte, and kind of a mocha latte without some additional chocolate sprinkled on the top as well. That's just Chocolatino. There you go, done. Alright, that's drink number 2. And let's move on to drink number 3. Okay, to make a drinking chocolate or a hot chocolate mix, using all of the same ingredients except for cocoa powder this time. So we're going to use, and I'm not going to make this one up, I'll put it in a jar for you, but I won't be making the 3rd cup of Joe this morning. Let's make up with 1 cup of the instant milk powder, 1/2 a cup of the sugar, and 1/3 a cup of cocoa powder. Okay, once all combined and then mixed together, again into a jar, again a couple of tablespoons, 1 to 2 tablespoons, depending on the size of your drink. These are also, all 3 of these are perfect for milkshakes or iced coffees or iced chocolates now that we're coming into our summer period. So it doesn't have to be a hot drink. It can also be used as milkshake powders or into a iced latte instead. So that is the 3 that today. I just need to label this one. That's better. So all 3 iced coffees or hot lattes as well. You can turn them into mochachinos if you want to by using the milk frother to froth up the coffees and the milks. It works especially well with the cappuccino, the first mix that we made. The mocha, it does as well, but it's not as creamy. You can also add additional flavors to all of these. I was looking for powdered caramel, couldn't find any, so I've got some going in the dehydrator at the moment. I've also got some other things in the dehydrator to experiment with as well for different flavors. Okay, so 3 very simple coffee mixes. Enjoy. Bye now.